been a busy few days at the intersection of faith and sports. 19-year-old Coco Gauff, a devout Christian, won the U.S. Women's Open tennis title last Saturday. Afterwards, ESPN referenced her taking a moment to soak it all in. However, she was actually praying, a point made by NFL Hall of Famer Tony Dungy on social media. The following day, Demario Davis, a linebacker for the New Orleans Saints, began a post-game news conference by praising God. This after his 4-year-old made a remarkable recovery from a lengthy epileptic seizure. We go now to Riley Gaines, a 12-time All-American swimmer at the University of Kentucky and the leader of Save Women's Sports. Riley, always great to be with you. I want to talk first about Coco, an incredible athlete, as we know. Your thoughts on her open display of her faith, and what did you think about ESPN failing to mention that she was praying?
Well, I'm not surprised about ESPN. ESPN, it's interesting because when I'll say political issues, of course, this really shouldn't be political. We know how they stand. They're owned by Disney. We know how that goes. But I will say, seeing Coco do that at only 19 years old, I believe, I mean, that's a breath of fresh air. She displayed so much wisdom and maturity for her age. And one thing she said, which I took very well to, I mean, it just spoke to me, is she said she doesn't pray for results. She prays for strength, and whatever happens, happens. And again, I think that just shows how wise beyond her years she is. And I think a lot of people, I mean, she was playing on the largest stage. So to honor God in all of that is admirable, to say the least. Yeah, beautiful. As mentioned, Tony Dungy, who we know is very vocal about his faith, he kind of called out ESPN on social media and corrected them. Why do you think, it took that to draw attention to this? Because I think we've gotten to this point where we want to ignore these things. That's how we got here. We've been quiet for too long. I think we kind of keep ourselves in the dark. But when one person has the courage to call something out, which we all see, we all noticed that, we all saw it. But when one person is willing to call it out, I think it just shows how courage begets courage, and there's strength in numbers. And that transcends far beyond, of course, just this topic. That's something I think that's pretty evident throughout a lot of the cultural issues that seem to be plaguing America. Yeah, I want to get to Demario Davis. We mentioned him as well, praising God for the recovery of his daughter. He actually began his news conference after a win over the Carolina Panthers with a quote from the book of Revelation. What did you make of his remarks, and what's been the response to that so far? Well, first, that story about his daughter is incredible. Of course, it's heartbreaking, but I think it shows the true resiliency and grit that an athlete has. For all of that to happen over the course of the weekend, yet he still goes out and plays his game. And it shows how he's just left it all in God's hands. That's what we need to do as human beings, as Americans, as Christians. We need to be putting more faith in God. And again, it's just a breath of fresh air to see athletes use their platform. Yeah. I think we discount that a lot of the times. These athletes have so much influence, and I don't know if they know that. And so to credit God is huge. Yeah, before I let you go, I'm going to switch gears here. And I also want to talk about why you're going to be in Texas this weekend. You're going to be there for the Texas Faith, Family, and Freedom Forum. Tell us a little bit more about this, and if you will, maybe give us a preview of what you're planning to talk about. So I'm super excited. Texas Values has been phenomenal in terms of making impact in both the state of Texas and really nationally. So really exciting stuff. The panel will be comprised of a lot of athletes. And of course, we'll be talking about, again, the issue of men and women's sports. It's crazy we even have to talk about this, but we want to give the audience some insight into, one, what it takes to be an elite athlete, the sacrifices, the determination that it takes to compete and be successful at the highest level, as well as the unfair competition that we faced. The locker room situation, the silencing that we faced and continue to face, and really, again, how that transcends beyond just sports. This has become a lot broader of an issue. And to me, what it is, the bigger picture of it is we're denying objective truth. And that's a pretty chilling thought when you think about it. But to follow Coco's lead here in honoring God, the beautiful piece is about it is we know who wins. The Bible tells us who wins. And so, unfortunately, it doesn't tell us how long we have to endure what we're going through on this earth right now, where our yeses are no's and our no's are yeses. but we know who wins in the end.
Indeed, we do. Riley, thank you so much for coming on. Always great to have you on the show.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.